Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Go for a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
Subtle results, still you, but with fewer lines. Botox Cosmetic, out of botulinum toxin A, is a prescription medicine used to temporarily make moderate to severe frown lines, crow's feet, and forehead lines look better in adults.
Effects of Botox Cosmetic may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness may be a sign of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Don't receive Botox Cosmetic if you have a skin infection. Side effects may include allergic reactions, injection site pain, headache, eyebrow and eyelid drooping, and eyelid swelling. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Tell your doctor about medical history, muscle or nerve conditions including ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects. For full safety information, visit BotoxCosmetic.com or call 877-351-0300.
See for yourself at BotoxCosmetic.com.
This episode is brought to you by Opel, the first over-the-counter daily birth control pill available in the U.S. Opel is FDA approved, full prescription strength, and estrogen-free. Plus, there's no prescription needed. Finally, the days of needing a prescription for birth control are over. Opel is available online and at most major retailers. Take control of your health and reproductive journey with Opel. Birth control in your control. Use code BIRTHCONTROL for 25% off your first month of Opel at opel.com.
Welcome back to another episode of Don't Blame Me.
Yeah. I'm so excited. Megan, are you excited?
I'm so excited. I'm mostly so excited because, as perfect timing would have it, my AC seems to have come back on.
Love it.
Just now. So, this is a podcast where you can also watch the video version. And if you're in the video version going, Megan, why do your lips look a little funny? Mosquito bit one. And
It's
I
not
can't
as
even...
bad as it was.
No, but it's so hard to rub like my lips
It was
together.
like this before.
It was really bad before. Unfortunately, it's very easy access to itch. So if you see me doing that, enjoy it. Yeah, that's exactly what I looked like. It's true. So this is a podcast where we give you wonderful, amazing, life-changing advice. And if you want to write in, you can send us an email. If you want to call in, you can send us a voicemail at 310-694-0976. And international listeners, you can send us an audio message at meganpodcast@gmail.com. But you can also write into that same email. For the voice memos, we ask that you keep it under 3 minutes long, as well as the voicemails. And then for the written version, 300 words or less. And then for everything, you have to be 18 or over, have your parents' permission. And please let us know your ages. You can let us know your pronouns if you would like. The whole thing is anonymous. So make sure you use pseudonyms for people. And because it is anonymous and because we don't have like follow-up questions, make it as coherent and like in line with the story as possible so we can follow along, give examples, and, tell us if you're sensitive. We'll keep that in mind. We just want to help out.
Yeah. First up, we've got an update. So the original writer there had just graduated from high school. They were struggling to come to terms with if they should stay with their girlfriend, even though they're going to different colleges, if they should stay together during the summer. Also, if they should confess that they love them, or should they prioritize their personal exploration. Here's the update. Hey guys, thanks for responding. Little update. She actually broke up with me on Sunday. She was really stressed about leaving for school and knew that we loved each other and wanted to end it before we actually said it. She didn't think she could handle a long-distance relationship, which I completely understand. I'm now having a really hard time getting over this because I never actually got the chance to tell her that I love her. So now I'm just stuck with that. I'm also having a very hard time getting excited about going to school because all I can think about is how school is the reason we had to break up. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I think it's a very valid response to like feel not excited about school because of that, because it feels directly correlated. But I promise if like you give the effort into trying to have a good time at school, it will happen. And I say that as someone who like did not want to fucking go to college and like was miserable. When I like committed to being like, I'm going to have a good time, I did. Like, you know, like I had fun doing that. And I think that like sometimes it just takes like going through the motions of what you do to like have fun, even if that's like not what you want to do in the moment. It's not fun in the moment. Sometimes we just need that distraction and to get out of our element. So I don't think that you need to like pretend it never happened or like try and get over it as fast as possible. But I think sometimes it's good to give yourself a timeline of mourning a breakup, and maybe you give yourself until like the day you move in and you're like, yeah, I'll be sad about this, and then that's when I go on to the next step of the grieving process, where I'm like focusing on myself and like doing things for me.
Because now there's so many possibilities that you're going to be open up to, because now you don't have to, you know, I can go to this party because I don't have to stay in and have a virtual date with my girlfriend. I can, you know, talk. There's so many more people, like you're going to meet and enjoy so many people. And a lot of times during college, people do grow apart, and it might have been harder if y'all broke up later rather than now.
Yeah. Most people I know who broke up in college with like a long distance high school relationship, it got really toxic before they broke up because it's hard. Yeah. The communication's just not there, like physically, like it's just impossible to do. And so things just end up getting kind of like petty and shitty.
Mm-hmm. So. You're in a new environment. This is the first time you're really away from home. You're going to be around new people. This is like your first real like step into like adulthood for yourself too. And so like there's just a lot of changes happening. And so having one less variable can make things easier.
Yeah, I agree with that. So sending you love. You will get through this, I promise. It will get easier. It just sucks for right now. And that's allowed to suck. Best of luck in college.
Best of luck. Let's get into advice now. Here's the first write-in.
Hey ladies, I'm writing to you fresh from my family's 4th of July shit show. I, 26, she, her, have been estranged from my family for various reasons. They're controlling, overly opinionated, the list goes on and on. I usually just show up for family gatherings. I'm not close to my parents, aunts, and uncles, but I am with my siblings and cousins. So my extended family came to Florida, where I live, for vacation, and we had a huge barbecue since they're in town. So the liquor is flowing heavy. Somehow, my love life comes up. I am single and going through my hope period. I was in a super committed relationship for 4 years. Once I got over the breakup, I decided I wanted to take some time to enjoy my freedom before I got into a serious relationship. My parents hate that I'm single. They act like I'm on the verge of becoming a spinster. So anywho, they all ganged up on me, telling me I need to take life more seriously, and my parents brought in my aunt and uncle to fuel up the fire. It was a whole mess. I got pissed and blew the fuck up. I told them exactly how I felt about them, and then I stormed out of there. Since then, I have blocked them all. Now that I've cooled off, I'm wondering if I should unblock them. Blocking them seems so permanent, even though it really isn't. Please let me know your opinions. I appreciate your help and love the pods. I don't think blocking's permanent at all.
No, I block people all the time and then unblock them.
Yeah, and you can unblock someone and be like, oh, my phone wasn't working. Like, it's not like they get a message being like, so-and-so has blocked you. Like, I think that blocking is like similar to muting or unfollowing or like whatever, like or more muting than anything else, where it's like you're doing it for your mental health and no one else has to know. And then you can unblock them or unmute them or whatever you do to be like, okay, cool, I'm ready for this now. But for all they know, if they're trying to text you or call you, you're just ignoring them. And you would already be ignoring them anyway, wouldn't you?
Yeah. And to me, I want them to know that they were blocked. Because when you text them, it doesn't go through. It like turns green, I believe. Mm-hmm. If you have an iPhone. I don't know what phone you have. But like I block people and I want them to know that they're blocked. For the time being, it's a physical reminder to them that they did something that they fucked up. And I think it's okay to like for them to know that they've been blocked and then like unblock them because I'm sure they've probably been trying to send you messages. You don't even have to like formally say I've unblocked you. Just the next message they send, respond to it.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Yeah.
if they call, answer the phone if you want to. But also if you want it to like go through and then let them know that they've now been unblocked and now, but you still don't want to talk to them, you also have that option. Puts the power in your court. And I don't think that you'd be like, I don't think it's wrong that you're doing this, and you're doing it for your own mental well-being. What they did was completely fucked up.
Yeah.
And weird. And you're 26 and you were in a long-term relationship for 4 years. So from 22 to 26. Like, no.
Yeah, I think you match their energy. So like,
Mm-hmm.
I think like if they want to be pissed about it, then they have to grapple with like what led to this behavior, which was, and what made this behavior okay, which was their behavior. Like their behavior co-signed your behavior. So I think like if you think they're trying to apologize or they're trying to like communicate in like a mature way, then I would unblock them and then turn notifications off. So like if they call you, you're not being bombarded with it. Like it kind of just like silently adds to your text or silently adds to like voicemails or whatever. And then, you know, you can decide at any point what you want to do moving forward with that. But I don't know, when you get to a point of like blowing up and like you're just like so enraged, I think it's better for everybody to like remove yourself from the situation, which you did, and then remove the situation is also how they contact you, which is your phone. Like I think that's totally fine, but it's also, yeah, like we said, not permanent.
All right. Next one. Meghan and Melisa, I am so excited to finally have a reason to call and be old enough to call. I am 18 as of 2 months ago. Well, welcome. Fresh.
Congratulations.
Fresh to the 18th. Welcome to adulthood. I use she, her pronouns. So I've told a pretty big lie. I promised my parents I was just going to take a leap year and travel this year. I'm going on a tour of Europe starting in August and super excited. So anyways, I have no intention of going to college. I made the choice after touring colleges and realizing it just wasn't for me. I knew my parents would never go for it. They are wanting me to go where they are legacies and met. I have no clue how to get out of it. I guess I have a year to figure it out. Holding out on them while they're paying for everything makes me feel weird. I am also afraid if I tell them, they will cancel the trip. It's a catch-22 situation at best. Incredibly selfish on my part as well. What would you do? I want to make a grown-up choice, but I know I'm acting immature. I'm looking forward to hearing your advice. I say there's no... Here's the thing. You're taking the gap year. You are going to explore Europe, and a lot can happen in the next year. You might decide you could have been gung-ho about going to college and taking a year, go on this trip, and then be like, I do not want to go to college. You can still be in the situation you're in now where you don't want to go to college. You'd take this year, go travel Europe, and then you come back and you're like, you know what? I actually do want to go to college. A lot can happen in a year. It could be you come back, you don't go to college, you start working or whatever. And then in 2 years, in 5 years, in 10 years, you might decide that you want to go to college. Like things change, they evolve. You change, you evolve. I say go explore, use this year to figure out like who you are as a quasi adult. Well, mommy and daddy are still paying for everything, and then come back and then share your thoughts. Also, if they want you to go to the same college that they went to, was it just that particular college you don't want to go to, or do you just not want to go to college as a whole?
Yeah. I mean, I agree. First of all, don't say a goddamn fucking word before you land back on American soil. Don't say a goddamn fucking word, because you're right. They will take it away. And like, I don't think you feeling guilty is bad. Like, feel guilty, but like, don't let that get in the way of like having fun. But like, don't fucking say a word to them until you get back. And I agree with all of that. And I will say, like, I am like, I went to college. I did not graduate. I didn't even want to go to college. Like, I was like so fucking stressed about it. I had like one of my first panic attacks, like the first night that that I was there. And I was like, I can't stay in this place. So that, like, now looking on it though, I'm like, oh, there are reasons why I was like so petrified. I had like no accommodations. I was just like raw dogging ADHD, and like, that is like the biggest catalyst for my social anxiety is like when I'm not medicated and I also was just like, I'm so bad at all of this. So like now I know all of these things, which made it feel like there was such a huge barrier that I was like speaking a different language than everyone else. Like it felt like everyone else had like taken all these courses to like know what to do. And I was like, I'm missing something. Like there's something that's different with me and I just don't know what to do about it. And so now, older and like knowing myself and understanding myself more, I'm like, have always said like, oh, college just wasn't for me. But I'm like, okay, there could have been a way that college could have been for me if I had gotten these accommodations, if I had known this about myself, or even if I already knew it about myself, but like if I knew that this was contributing to that, if I did all of these things or whatever, that like, I think education can be for everybody when you have the right tools and you have like you're in the right circumstance and in the right state of mind. So if my kids came to me and they're like, I don't want to go to college, I'd be like, okay, cool. What do you want to do? And if they don't know, then I'm like, okay, cool. We're going to give ourselves a timeline and we're going to figure that out together of like what you want to do. We're going to try different things and do all of those other things. But I think that it's underestimated what it's like to watch your peers collectively go do something and you not have that and like not know where that's going. It's very hard to start when you're the only one starting. So regardless of what you're going to start, like if you decide after Italy, you're like, not Italy. Sorry, I'm projecting. If you decide, Melissa loves Italy. If you decide after you go to Europe that you're like, I really don't want to go to college, I think the best way to approach that is to be like, this is what I want to do instead. Or coming up with like, knowing that like, okay, I don't want to do this. So if I can't come up with things I want to do, let me make a list of all the things I don't want to do. And let me try and figure out what it is that I am interested in and what I would enjoy pursuing. Because without that there, the issue or the reason why you don't want to go to school turns out to like not just be the school. Like if there's no starting, if there's like, I don't want to do any of it, then it's like, okay, cool. Let's figure out what the lack of motivation there is from. Let's figure out what this is. And like, sometimes it's like, maybe it's not mental health. Maybe it's not something like that. Maybe it's just like, I just don't want to fucking work. And it's like, okay, so what's the job that you'd be the least miserable at? Or if you don't want to work, maybe you would enjoy not working and going to college for 4 years. Like, there's just like, there's so many options, but you just have to pick one. And if you can't pick one immediately, which is fine, then like eliminate things one by one by one. But I think your parents will have a much better reaction and response if you let them know what you want to do, as well as you let them know what you don't want to do. So if you don't want to go to college, I think you need to say what you do want to do, because not everybody needs college. But if you are not going to college, you are basically you're opting out of like the hand holding process of adulthood a little bit earlier. So there needs to be some drive there and some decisiveness and decision making that you have to kind of do independently versus through discovery in classes and school and like school counselors and all of those resources. And it's fine. Some people are more individually motivated versus like group motivated. That's how I am. I'm not like a decision maker in a collective. Like I have to sit on things on my own. So that's fine. But there's a skill set there that even if you don't go to college, you have to develop to be a member of this late stage capitalistic society.
Yeah, I think, like if you don't have a plan, college, a great way. I'm guessing they'd probably pay for college too. A great way to figure things out. I went into college as a physics major. Shortly after, became a biology major. I was also pre-dental. Took a dental class my senior year and was like, nope. And now I'm a writer, producer, podcaster. So like, you have time to figure stuff out. And I'm still figuring stuff out. A couple weeks ago, I was just like, I'm quitting. I'm going to become a baker.
Yeah. She's going to buy a dehydrator. But yeah, no, it's a great place to figure things out. And like, I always want to make sure when like, I've been like, I didn't go to college. Like I did not have a good experience at college. For me, it was like my circumstance. I think I could have liked college in a different world, but also I still went to college because I didn't have anything else like to fucking do. And so then my mission became, I don't want to go to fucking college. I have to figure out how I can find something else to do that I can like make money and like survive off of so I can drop out of college. And like, if that's what you want to do, also fine. But like, there has to be something there.
Maybe you become a travel blogger while you're on your European excursion. And then you start making money and then you come back and you're like, I'm going to keep going.
People love watching expat content.
Well, now we're going to take a break.
As a podcast network, our first priority has always been audio and the stories we're able to share with you. But at Realm, we also sell some pretty cool merch, and organizing that was made both possible and easy with Shopify. When you think about successful businesses like Aloe or Allbirds or Skims, an often overlooked secret is the business behind the business that makes selling and, for shoppers, buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. That's because nobody does selling better than Shopify. It's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret that's definitely worth talking about is that Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%. That's more happy customers and way more sales going. If you're hoping to grow your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm.
Hi, this is Rob Benedict.
And I am Richard Spate. We were both on a little show you might know called Supernatural.
It had a pretty good run, 15 seasons, 327 episodes.
And though we have seen, of course, every episode many times, we figured, hey, now that we're wrapped, let's watch it all again.
And we can't do that alone, so we're inviting the cast and crew that made the show along for the ride. We've got writers, producers, composers, directors, and we'll of course have some actors on as well, including some certain guys that played some certain pretty iconic brothers.
It was kind of a little bit of a left field choice in the best way possible.
The note from Kripke was, he's great, we love him, but we're looking for like a really intelligent Duchovny type.
With 15 seasons to explore, it's going to be the road trip of several lifetimes. So please join us and subscribe to Supernatural then and now.
What's up, everyone? It's Noah Daniels.
Hey, y'all. I'm JJ.
Hey, guys. It's Kat.
And we're your hosts of the Real Hauntings podcast, where we bring on guests who share their first-hand encounter ghost stories and supernatural experiences. Now on to the trailer.
I've been warned to not tell this story, but I think because of the way it ends, it's okay to tell this story, because some people say that with certain entities, to like speak of them or talk about them or in any way like portray them as powerful will attract them to other people. The creepiest thing about it to me is a lot of times it would wait for me to notice it. Like, it would just lay its arm out like this, and then I'd be like, where is it? Where is it? And then I'd see it, and then it would just slither back.
For more information on the Real Hauntings, Real Ghost Stories podcast, make sure you check out Real.fm to learn more about our podcast and many other amazing podcasts.
And we're back from our break, and it's time to get into the rest. Hey, Meghan and Melisa. Oh, sorry. Hey, Melissa and Meghan. This is just
Thank you.
It's almost Leo season.
So
I just
disrespectful.
Automatically put myself at the front. I hope you are well and enjoying life. Thank you. I am hoping to get your epic advice. So I make a great living, but I absolutely hate my job. The income is legit the only reason I am there. I'm in a nice, cushy place, single, and literally have nothing to worry about. I say this not to be a brag, but just to give insight. I have a passion for photography. I like nature as well as family photos, individuals, you name it. On top of that, I'm good. I know I am. I live in a small town and commute 45 minutes to a bigger city for my job. I would love to pursue photography full time, but I'm scared as fuck. It is a huge step to take. Plus, I have grown accustomed to my lifestyle. I didn't have the best upbringing, so I worked really hard to get where I am in life. Is it stupid for me to step out on this and try something new? With living in a small town, finding a photographer is as easy as breathing. The difference is they take pictures and I treat it like an art. Once again, I'm not bragging, just providing insight. After COVID, I feel like being a photographer was really easy. A lot of people lost jobs and didn't want to go to their other jobs after being in lockdown, and it became a popular pastime. Now it's overtaken my community. Even if I stepped out and did it full time, I'm worried I will get lost in a sea of other photographers. I'm 30 and use she, her pronouns. I'm also a Leo. Thanks for your help, loves. I think depending on how cushy your job is, can you do it on the side? Because logically, you're right. Like a dime, like photographers are a dime a dozen. And if you're in a small town and like what you would most likely be shooting is probably like family stuff. I don't know how much those people are caring about it being art versus
They're
it
just gonna
the
go cheap
price. Yeah. So it's like such a saturated market that I think you could really enjoy it. I think that you'd have to be okay with taking a downgrade in your lifestyle temporarily, but possibly permanently. And there's a whole lot of other stuff there that like can be affected by it. And I also think that like as somebody who monetizes all of her hobbies, it changes how you feel about them. Like, and I promise you that. And then you have to find other hobbies. Like you will have to find something else to decompress you from this hobby because this will then become a job. And so while that's not bad per se, I recommend people who like have like a hobby that they love and they want to switch things up or whatever. If that's the road you want to take and you want to go into a creative world, I personally think having multiple passion projects that some bring in money sometimes, others don't. If they flip, they go back and forth and all of that. That's kind of the only sustainable way to make a living and keep your sanity and like still enjoy the thing you're doing. Like you kind of have to diversify like what you do. And that's why like some photographers do weddings for a couple years and then they stop. And then they do other kinds of photography and then they work in house and then they do weddings again and then they stop and then you kind of have to be on your toes in that sense. And that's not necessarily a bad thing at all, but it's just, I would recommend trying that first as a hobby because it's going to be so different than your current job.
Yeah. I just talked about how I was like, a couple weeks ago, I was like, I'm going to quit it all. I'm going to become a baker. And then after I calmed down from those thoughts, I also was going through other things mentally. But I was like, this is my hobby that I enjoy doing. Do I really want to monetize my hobby when I monetize pretty much every other part of my life? And if your job is cushy, just show up there for the paycheck. Like, I don't see anything wrong with that. Most people hate their jobs. Show up for the paycheck. Do your photography as a hobby or, like Megan said, a side hustle. Like, it's okay not to like your job. If you're not liking your job, but also getting paid, that sounds like fine because all it is for you is a paycheck and you're not invested in it really. When some people get overly invested in the outcome of their jobs, like just do that and enjoy your photography. And like if you do it like if you decide like, you know, I do want to monetize it, start off as it being your side hustle on the weekends because that's when most people get pictures taken anyway. So do that and just see how much money you can make and see like if I did this as my full-time job, is this something where one, like I'm okay for a few months not living the lifestyle, not a few months, it could be years, a few years not living the lifestyle that I'm accustomed to. Am I going to be happy making this amount of money as I build up my clientele? And then like, is this really what I want to do? Because right now it's just an idealistic, like I'm better than everybody else. So people will want to come to me. But like we were saying before, they probably just want to go to the cheapest thing.
Yeah. And like, ask yourself, would you be willing to change your style, your craft, like how you go about it to fit what the market in your town wants? Or would you be willing to move to where the market for what you want to do is? Photography requires a lot of travel. And there's a lot of people who are like fantastic, like editorial, and they take like graduation photos. They take like, and it's just like, is your passion going to be fulfilled by what the demand is in your area and by what you're going to be doing? I like, that's a big one. And last thing I'll say, nature photography is the hardest to break into. Like that's the one that most people
monetize.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's one that's most people just like passion project. Like there are, it's like the guy who does the coming soon to theaters. Like there are so few published nature photographers. Like the magazines and they will use the same ones. A lot of them are doing videography as well. And you'll have those paired together. And then you'll have like some who are like famous photographers. Ansel Ansel Adams? Yes. And he came from, like, he's also like an environmentalist and all that stuff. He also is dead. He's very old. He was born in 1902. I'm not saying like this is a man I know. No, but he's like a West Marin kind of Yosemite, like very NorCal. Everyone has like a Ansel Adams like photo in their house or a calendar or whatever. So there's just there's so few. And I would say if you live in Utah and you've decided you want to become a photographer, you have to move out of Utah. Utah produces only two things: photographers and competitive dancers.
Also models.
Who was a model from Utah?
Lucky.
Oh, first of all, he definitely did photography. There's no way that man did not do photography at some point. Because I was like, no, he's from Germany. But yeah, there is just like that's just like that's a market that is so highly saturated. I think like I don't know about any other city, but like that's one that I would say, if that's not your style and your vibe, I would move, because there are so fucking many. And if you're in such a competitive area with it, the pricing is going to also be super competitive. You're not going to be the go-to in that sense. But I also think you could like soft launch this by like offering to do business, like company portraits, and like doing that for the company, and then maybe doing it for like some other places around or whatever, even just offering for free to like photograph local businesses and like that kind of stuff, and get your name out there. That's just like slightly different than what other people are doing. You can come from a corporate side, which a lot of people, if they only started off in the creative field, they wouldn't have access to those connections. But yeah, I know people who do like surfing photography and like extreme sports photography who like I met because they were doing corporate photography. Like there's only so many gigs you get in your lifetime career that are the ones that like you dreamed of as a kid. A lot of the other ones are just to pay the bills. And right now you have a job that pays the bills, like Melissa said. So, and it pays bigger bills.
Mm-hmm. Big bills.
Big bills. Oh, you can also be a YouTuber.
Yeah.
But they're also all photographers too. Like Aspen takes photos. Like everyone does. And like, here's the thing. We're eloping, and it's going to be cheaper for me. I haven't booked them yet, but like, it's going to be cheaper for me to find a fucking bitch from Utah, fly them out, and have them take our photos than it is for me to find someone who lives in the entire state of fucking California. They got to keep those prices competitive.
Yeah.
Anyways.
With something like 5 million podcasts, finding a really good one can take a ton of time. So let me recommend one. It's called Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and in each episode, we discuss topics that can be really helpful, like how to read people better, the psychology of crowds, or fun things like the story of Legos, or why you probably wouldn't be here if it weren't for horses. Something You Should Know is the name of it, wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey everyone, join me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melissa DeMonts, for Don't Blame Me, But Am I Wrong?
Each week, we deliver 4 fun-filled shows.
In Don't Blame Me, we tackle our listeners' dilemmas with hilariously honest advice.
Then we have But Am I Wrong, which is for the listeners that didn't take our advice. Plus, we share our hot takes on current events.
Then tune in to See You Next Tuesday for our listener poll results from But Am I Wrong?
And finally, wrap up your week with Fisting Friday, where we catch up and talk all things pop culture.
Listen to Don't Blame Me, But Am I Wrong on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. New episodes every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Merry Christmas, everybody! My name is Eric Peterson. I'm here with my good buddy,
Danny Jordan.
And we are the hosts of Christmas Countdown Show.
We're so thrilled to be bringing the merriment to you all this holiday season. On Christmas Countdown, we love to count down our top 10 favorite things related to the holiday season. That could be food, movies, music, everything that we all love about this massively merry good time. So wherever you get your podcasts, make sure you click that subscribe button. Eric, are you ready?
I am ready, and we hope that you are too. Merry Christmas, everybody! Let's go!
Hello, my favorite girls.
Hi.
I am a little sensitive, so please don't go too hard on me. I'm 21, she, her pronouns. I am in a relationship with my boyfriend going on 3 years, and we have a 1-year-old daughter. I know, I shouldn't have done it, but I went through his phone. It was just right there and I couldn't help it. He literally gave me no reason to do this. I was just being nosy. Since I've never gone through his phone, he clearly didn't delete anything. I found Tinder on his phone. You'd think that would be the worst. Oh no, it gets way worse. I clicked into the app and he was mainly right swiping, is that the right lingo, to men. He had not interacted or responded to any DMs, but this was very disturbing to me. He has never shown any indication he might be interested in men. Do I bring this up to him? Do I pretend I didn't see anything? I am all over the place. He keeps asking what's wrong, and I just keep saying nothing. Please tell me what to do.
I am clocking so hard that you're not telling us how old this man is. I'm going to guess that he is older. You've been together for 3 years, so that's 18. Feels awful convenient. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And you have a 1-year-old. So I don't believe that he gave you no reason to look through his phone. I think you're feeling guilty that you saw this and that like you wish you didn't see this. And like sometimes it happens. You look at things and like you can't unsee it. And like we always say, if you're going to go through someone's phone, be prepared to see be prepared that anything's going to be in it. And that's why like I firmly believe there is nobody on this earth who goes through somebody's phone without a reason. And it doesn't mean that this exact person gave you a reason, but it maybe it's like the previous relationship you had, there was cheating, there was whatever it is. Like it is just not behavior that someone does if they're not looking for something, whether it's looking for an out of the relationship, they want to get out, like there's something there. So like, I think you need to unpack that with yourself. Like there's a reason. And then there's also a reason you clicked on it. There's a reason why you opened it. There was like all of that. And I think you can't pretend you didn't see any of this, but actually, no, here you can't. I think you've got two options. You can pretend you didn't see this and you can say, hey, this has been fun. I don't want to pursue a romantic relationship with you anymore. I just want to co-parent. I want to be single, do my own thing. Thanks for the memories. Like, you're great, but I'm going to do me, break up. That's one option. And then I think your only other option is, hey, I am ridden with guilt. I looked through your phone. But again, I would like reflect on why you did this, because I personally just do not believe that there was like nothing. And again, it doesn't have to be from him, but I assume there's probably something. I looked through your phone and I saw that you had downloaded Tinder and I opened it and I want to have a conversation about it. And I want to take the back seat for this because I'm not you. I don't know this. Like, I just am like looking to like listen and hear about like, what's up, and then stop talking and then have him explain this to you. But I think that's, especially if you're saying he gave you no reason to, I think like that's the most you can do, because like you put yourself in a bad fucking situation when you obtain information that goes against the relationship parameters you've set. I mean, seemingly this is cheating. Like seemingly this is not, oh, we're allowed to both be on Tinder and swiping on, like regardless of the gender of the person who's they're swiping on. When you discover a betrayal in a way that is admissible in court or whatever, like it's just kind of one of those like, fuck, found the evidence in that way. And so I think like you have to kind of own your shit that you did, but like it doesn't change the fact what you found. And I think like in the scheme of things, I personally am never going to be someone who's going to say, oh, tit for tat, whatever I find in your phone is not going to be like me looking through your phone. If I find something bad, me looking through your phone is nowhere fucking near as bad. Like we can't use it. Well, you shouldn't have looked through my phone. It goes, that's sure. How I got the information was not great, but that information in itself, that betrayal is much larger than snooping through someone's phone. But because the only other thing is that like, if you do have a reason to look through his phone, to be like, I was concerned about this and I looked through your phone and I found this and like, what's up? But if you're looking to get to the bottom of it, and again, this is something that I have a hard time with, you have to shut up and let them talk. Because like I'm very good at communicating my feelings. And I sometimes find that like I will use so many words to try and get someone else to communicate how they're feeling, when in reality, all I need to do is stop talking.
This was something similar that I went through. This was before dating sites, or dating apps. Dating sites existed, but dating apps. But I found some information in an email that let me know that it went further than what yours was. Yours is just some swipes with no actual communication. Mine was actually a trip that they went on together, him and this man. And for me, it was different because, one, we didn't have a child together. But two, he took it a step further. And then he wasn't out in any type of way, which I'm guessing your boyfriend isn't either, but he wasn't out in any type of way. And I knew how the way that he grew up, it would take him a while to come out. And so I just kind of ended things with him quietly. And then he eventually came out, and I didn't say about what it was. And he eventually came out on his own accord years later. But this is a different situation. But I know the feelings that you have. And
you said that you had a feel like something was off in your relationship. And that's the thing, is that there was something off in our relationship, and I had a feeling. Yeah. I also was told some things, but I had a feeling. And the relationship wasn't working as it was. So yes, this was a catalyst to break up when the relationship, this was like, oh, now I have a pinpoint to the reason why this isn't working.
Yes. He knows that something's up, so you have to talk to him. I would say, hey, you left your phone open to Tinder. Lying is fine. Yeah. He's been lying to you. You left your phone open to Tinder, and I saw that you were swiping on these guys. Like, is there anything you want to tell me?
Or, my friend saw you on Tinder. He's a guy. Mm-hmm. What's up?
Yep. Either way, he shouldn't be on Tinder.
Yeah, that's the issue there. How you got the information. If you have to lie, if he's someone who's going to be like, well, you shouldn't be looking through if I wasn't looking through your phone, that doesn't mean that if I didn't look through your phone, you still would have been doing this. It's not like those things it's not like a domino effect.
Yes.
So I love when Melissa finally agrees with my sometimes lying is fun.
Yeah. In this case, I think sometimes lying is fine, especially because there's a baby.
Yeah. And
so I would be like you, or, the thing that Megan just said, and let him explain himself. Maybe he'll be like, I thought that Tinder had a BFF feature like Bumble, and I was just looking for some new bros.
Then decide if you.
And then we'll be like, that is definitely a lie. You're a liar. I don't want to be with you. But maybe he's curious. Either way, he's a liar. It doesn't matter. But what you do is that you can decide, like, I still want to stay with him, or I don't. It's up to you.
Yeah. And honestly, maybe he actually is around your age.
And he didn't have time to explore other things because y'all have been together since you were 18.
Yeah. And I think, like, I'm someone who, like, I don't like lying, but I also understand why people lie. Mm-hmm. And for me, it's like, I'm not someone I'm not going to give everybody a second chance, but there are some people who I will. There are some people who there are people who've given me a second chance. Not everybody, but the people, like, there are those things where, like, relationships are ebb and flow in that sense. And for me, what counts the most is when the people I'm in a relationship with, friendship, whatever it is, when we care about each other and we show that equally, like when that we're both invested in that. And sometimes both being invested in that, like, is repairing something. Like, sometimes that's like talking through something with your friend or whatever. But, like, if I know I'm not that invested in a friendship and there's something comes up, that's when I'm ghosting. That's when I'm ending it. But, like, if something else in a friendship that I really care about, like, it's a sign of love when someone wants to kind of work on that. So I think, like, you have to ask yourself, like, is it like Melissa's situation where something was off in the relationship, and there, even if you couldn't necessarily realize that that's why you were looking, but, like, you're looking for there's an out there that you're like, okay, this explains why it's not working and why it's not going to work and why we're trying to fix this hasn't been working? Or is it like, really, this is so totally different. This is so not like so out of left field. This is not like your relationship's been perfect. Everything's been great otherwise and all of that. Then like, you know, I think there's few things I don't think that relationships can be worked through. I think it's more about if both parties want to work through it and they're invested in working through it. So give him an opportunity and a chance to say what's happening. But I'm out when someone doubles down on their lies, regardless of who they harm. When someone like protecting themselves at the expense of me, and then specifically at the expense of, like, if I was you, like the expense of my kid. Like, if we can't be honest about this, we can't move through this, and we can't like work on this and figure out what's going on. But I think the best thing to do is whatever you can do to preserve having a good relationship with him. Doesn't have to be romantic. It can be a friendship. And if it would be better to just, like Melissa did, end it without the conversation about this. Like, you're the only one who knows that. But yeah. And I cannot stress enough that I would not ignore this, because it will not only eat you alive, it will fundamentally change your relationship with him. Like, because you will then be hiding something, and that will affect the relationship as well. And it'll eventually boil over and it'll be bad. You want to go into a conversation like really self-assured, confident in what you know, what you're going to say, and like willing and able to listen, not with as much. You don't want to go into it like burning, fiery, mad, or with a ton of resentment. So whatever you can do to get yourself to that point, and then think before you speak, in the sense of like, I'm a person, if I'm again fighting with someone or whatever, I'm like, if we can't be nice to each other in this, and if our shared goal is not like to conclude this, to like figure out and understand each other better, take a step back, take a step away from that. And yeah, and I wouldn't like, if you have a therapist, I'd tell your therapist, but like, I would not like share this with anybody before you have a conversation with him.
Except for us.
Yeah. Well, we're anonymous and we're the best.
We're your favorites.
We're your favorite girls. And you know what? You and your daughter are some of our favorite girls too.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, that's the end of this episode. Feel free. We haven't had anybody write in for Don't Blame Them in a while. So I just want to remind y'all what Don't Blame Them is. That's when y'all write in and share your thoughts on the things that were asked of advice in the episode. So please, you can write in, you can call in the same way that you do for Don't Blame Me.
Hell yes. Well, we hope you all enjoyed. Don't forget to leave a review. And stay tuned for the rest of the podcast we have coming out this week. Tomorrow, we have See You Next Tuesday, where we catch up. We talk about the two things that have happened in television, both scripted and reality, that have rocked our worlds.
Mm-hmm.
Gird your loins. And then on Thursday, we have an episode of But Am I Wrong? And Friday, we have Fisting Friday, where we read the results of last week's episode.
All right.
I'm wishing all of you wonderful air conditioning.
I wish that for you, Megan, specifically.
It's fine.
It's coming.
It's fine.
It's blowing.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, have a great day and see you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye. Don't Blame Me is a production by me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melissa D. Montz, plus Diamond Imprint Productions.
Post-production sound and editing by Coco Lorenz.
Production assistance by Melanie D. Watson.
And music by Giacomo Picasso and Ryan Hunter.
Welcome to the small town of Chinook, where faith runs deep and secrets run deeper. In this new thriller, religion and crime collide when a gruesome murder rocks the isolated Montana community. Everyone is quick to point their fingers at a drug-addicted teenager, but local deputy Ruth Vogel isn't convinced. She suspects connections to a powerful religious group. Enter federal agent V.B. Lauro, who has been investigating a local church for possible criminal activity. The pair form an unlikely partnership to catch the killer, unearthing secrets that leave Ruth torn between her duty to the law, her religious convictions, and her very own family. But something more sinister than murder is afoot, and someone is watching Ruth.
Chinook, starring Kelly Marie Tran and Sanaa Lathan. Listen to Chinook wherever you get your podcasts.
Contained herein are the heresies of Radolf Buntwine, erstwhile monk turned traveling medical investigator. Join me as I study the secrets of the divine plagues and uncover the blasphemous truth that ours is not a loving God, and we are not its favored children. The Heresies of Red Elf Buntwine, wherever podcasts are available.
Do you love Disney? Do you love top 10 lists? Then you are going to love our hit podcast, Disney Countdown. I'm Megan, the Magical Millennial.
And I'm the Dapper Danielle.
On every episode of our fun and family-friendly show, we count down our top 10 lists of all things Disney. The parks, the movies, the music, the food, the lore. There is nothing we don't cover on our show.
We are famous for rabbit holes, Disney-themed games, and fun facts you didn't know you needed.
I had Danielle and Megan record some answers to seemingly meaningless questions. I asked Danielle, what insect song is typically higher pitched in hotter temperatures and lower pitched in cooler temperatures?
You got this.
No, I didn't.
Don't believe that. About a wish coming true? Well, I didn't either. Of course, I'm just a
cicada. I'm crying. I'm so sorry.
You win that one.
So if you're looking for a healthy dose of Disney magic, check out Disney Countdown wherever you get your podcasts.